It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not they off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo. Man of the masses, my ego don't come, oh, my ego diary politico, my ego don't come, oh.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Glory Facebook, glory YouTube. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them that Mayegun today, oh my lágbára lálẹ́ yìí, it go hot tonight. You'll be happy that you are here.
Political. Godfatherism. Kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹ́kọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Mayegun diary. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdò.
But I hope a lot of you are currently catching up on the death of this young man and the developing story. There is more. And I want to share that with you tonight as well. Share the broadcast.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì. Lórí Facebook. Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì. lórí YouTube.
Another young bright mind killed by the Nigeria system. I'll tell you more tonight.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Cornfessor Wole Soyinka again.
Gómìnà kówó jẹ. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí pa.
Respect the elders. Respect the elders is a very common, statement from those who want to bully you into silence. What do you say to lying elders? What do you say to intentionally gaslighting elders? What do you call them? Agbaya. Motideo. Good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun, and this is live, especially if you joined us live. I hope you have managed to read the caption of the broadcast, the description of what this is going to be about tonight. Because of normal, or should I say expected reactions to that needless, unnecessary gaslighting from Cornfessor Wole Soyinka, Wole, I will try my best to make this more explanatory. Most importantly, for the sake of those of you who kind of have some, you grew up respecting this man and people like him. And for the sake of people like you who have this reserved respect for him, I am going to try my best to let you see that this is not about his work. This is not about his life. Most importantly, this is not about intentional, abusive, or vitriolic attacks. No. This broadcast is mainly about his political view and the veil, the fraud, the lie that is Wole Soyinka when it comes to his political view. Do you understand that? I know a lot of you are taking a lot of dig at him. No, I wouldn't want to do that tonight. Okay? He's a literary icon. Fine. Okay? A lot of us grew up reading some of his literary work. A lot of us were graded based on his literary work. So we're not going to, go into that. This is purely the political view of Wole Soyinka that should be put to question, not just by those who don't like him, including those of you who actually respect him. He's an old man now. And I also want to remind you that the common, that deceitful phrase, which is more like, you cannot tell or question the elders because they are older than you, they have more experience than you, they have more life experience than you, and they have little to lose. So when you get to a certain age in your life, for example, the moment you begin to cross 70, that is a stage whereby you are more or less like, what else do you have to lose? Your old age should be for honesty, truthfulness, sincerity, and if you can add bluntness to it, that would be great. But when you cross that age, and what you remember to use that age for, as they say generally, from where I come from, Yoruba land, there is nothing we use old age or elderly for other than to cheat the young ones. They say that like it's actually normal thing. I don't know if that caveat will help you settling into the broadcaster tonight. So this is reaction to a misleading statement from an elderly statesman. And just as we knew before now, the establishment is beyond the criminal politicians that you have their faces on your screen there. They have collaborators, they have enablers, and their job, as it's somehow schemed out for them, when they want to pretend to be criticizing the government, to you, you will think they are on your side. No. It is either there is something they wanted from that same government that they are not getting. The only way to get the attention of whoever is in charge was to raise some dust that will make it look like they are concerned about the country. The rest is esprit de corps, business as usual. They speak the same language. They operate the same way, but they just have different identities and sometimes different callings. So let us take a little bit step back so that we can indeed get into this and understand the perspective of on what God's art is Cornfessor Wole-wole Soyinka speaking from when he made a treasonable allegation, because that's the point of this. So the first time he spoke after the charade violent elections that you had, and let us be very clear, okay? The problem a lot of you have, especially when you jump on Mayegun's diary political, is that when I speak about injustice, you tend to ignore that on this platform, the only thing that makes this platform more very, very vocal and very, very vibrant is because of the injustices in Nigeria. And the injustices in Nigeria has pushed many to further this kind of dissociate from the country, either physically or mentally, which has also fueled the different campaign groups who are demanding for the breakup of Nigeria, injustice in Nigeria. And it is not limited to one person or one group, okay? All they need is just one single, either make up reason, like call a dog a bad name, to hang it. The injustice is from the north, as it is from the north, so it's in the south, as it is from the Yorubas, for the Yorubas, so for the Hausas and then the rest, as the Igbos are suffering it, so our other tribes and the ethnic nationalities are suffering it. These injustices has kept Nigeria divided, has made the Nigerians in Nigeria to have less trust or no trust at all in the institutions called Nigeria, controlling Nigeria. Injustices. Mayegun's diary political always speaks on injustice, on these injustices, no matter whose ox is God, because when they do them, they justify the position that I have reached a while back, that if anyone cares about Nigeria, sincerely speaking, the first that will actually be on your mind right now is the campaign and mobilization for what is called the national conversation. Nigerians have been disjointed, divided, full of hatred towards one another. All they need is just a reason. And those who are kind of benefiting from this are the criminal politicians, their friends, who make up the entire establishment. Nigerians are the losers. So if I pick on the IPOB, And you decided to justify it because I wanted to satisfy the Igbos and look good to them. Not because of the injustice. No, not to you. Eh? When I speak about those who have, including those who were deceived in northern Nigeria, that all they needed was just a northerner, a Muslim, to be president of Nigeria. The poverty, the terrorism, the insecurity, the underdevelopment, or everything will be gone. Rather than for all this to be gone, for 8 years that I've been on here, talking about those who Nigeria have decided to kind of forgotten. The victims of kidnapping. These are not people from my side. The Shiites and the rest of them. So it is these injustices that Nigeria represents that gives this platform its voice. So if you are thinking you are on this side, and others are on the other side, okay, and to you, it doesn't matter. They deserve whatever comes to them. Injustice. You know something about the injustice? It doesn't discriminate. If you don't make moves to stop it or end it, it doesn't discriminate. Those of you who are supporting it, you will become the victims of it too. So at the end of the day, what? I'm going to be talking about you. And I'm going to be using you as an example why Nigeria will never work. Because we know a country that will work, you will see the actions and the workings of those who are doing to make it work. But those who are in charge of Nigeria are not working to make Nigeria better. You are hoping and dreaming. Kind of, vivid imagination. And to somebody like myself, every day, there are enough justices to make me turn on my cameras. Turn on my camera here and begin to tell Nigerians who care to listen that if you are not a victim yet, don't worry. It will get to your turn. When it gets to your turn, you are likely not going to see anybody talk about you anymore because remember, you would want your oppressors, your criminal leaders, whether in PDP or APC, you will want them to extinguish those you considered as their enemies because they are exposing them. So I'm very much, aware of that. And then when the game of gaslighting started, hang on to this. Before this charade election, we knew those who threatened people. And we knew those who kept quiet. The silence of those who were supposed to be elder statesmen in Nigeria, religious bodies, their silence was so loud that it became deafening. A lot of you witnessed that. Some of you were even saying, hey, what is Kiniko saying about this? Why is Kiniko said something about this? And all of that. But there is something I figured out. The establishment is not just your politicians. The establishment includes your pastors, your imams, your babalawos, your professors, your doctors, your senior doctors, people that you have respect for, royal fathers. Because the way they work, it has to be hand in hand. When the criminal politicians, when they scheme to destroy the country through their greed and corruption, the elite, they will keep quiet. Because behind the scene, they are partaking. If they are not partaking directly themselves, they are partaking indirectly through different proxies. It is like a sort of a cabal. So only those who are outside it and really want to get in will raise dust, pretending to be like you. But the moment they have their chance, they will dump you and they will get on with it. So I studied that for a while. And that's saying that if you live long enough, Baba, your heroes feel become villains. I'm talking about the people you call heroes. People you actually respect genuinely. People you love, people you will see in public and you have embraced. You know what this generation has managed to unravel is the fact that the moment the establishment lost the control of information, dissemination, here you get, that exposed
those who usually hide behind once in a while appearances on your media, doing some human and asset job, driving opinion and narrative, unsuspecting public, agreeing with them innocently. You know what I mean? It is the same thing with your churches and your mosques, where your religious leaders, who are also Nigerians, they are experiencing what others are experiencing, maybe in a reverse way, right? But when they gather and have an opportunity to discuss that with you, they will take it spiritual. They will deviate your mind. They will run you. They will put you on this shadow chasing, so that you will not have time to reflect on the actions and activities of these criminals. They work hand in hand. In 2015, meanwhile, just let's start it this way as well. Cornfessor Wole-wole Soyinka, who is an old man now, very old man, is over 80, right? Normally, Cornfessor Wole-wole Soyinka, a writer, decided to become an activist due to different injustices happening in Nigeria when he was young. Okay? He got to a point. This Cornfessor Wole-wole Soyinka started a movement that participated in the political activity of that era, early 60s, early independence of Nigeria. Cornfessor Wole-wole Soyinka happened to be one of those young Nigerians who had these great dreams, like those Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, all these guys are from Africa at the time. So they had this dream of what Africa should be after independence. So when this the politicians of the First Republic, when they started this political rascality, power monger and corruption, and electoral corruption, an election happened in that same early 60s, so 63, 64, that this Cornfessor Wole-wole Soyinka, as a young man, disagreed with so bitterly, so angrily, that he got a gun. Yes, he got a gun. And he went straight to a radio station. He wrote a speech he purported to be from his own group, political group. And that political group has now taken over the government of Western region. Are you listening? The young professor, he held, after writing the speech, declaration speech, he went straight to the radio station with a gun, and he pointed the gun, the head of the broadcaster in the radio station, and he handed him that prepared speech, and he forced them to read the entire speech. And the speech was that they have declared somebody the premier of Western region of Nigeria against the declared winner by the electoral body. This professor did that too. During their own days, when they were in their 20s, they were more radical. Are you with me? That is why when you look at those who grabbed and seized Nigeria since 1966, go and check all their ages, 24, 25. The oldest among them wasn't older than maybe 33. These were people who took over Nigeria. That was how ambitious they were. That was how audacious they were. And that was how fascist they were. You understand? Like, it's either our way or nobody's way. This generation, they are holding phones to express their anger against a failed country. And this professor in his 80s, who is now a friend, a very bosom friend, his own children, they have enjoyed political patronage from the looters and the ruiners of Nigeria. His son became a commissioner of health in Ogun State because of his father's public figure. At a point in his life, they made him the chairman of the Road Safety Corps in Nigeria as a means of compensation as well. He's always been part of that. But at the same time, lived on the old glory that, remember Wole Soyinka? Wole Soyinka that took over radio station with using gun. Wole Soyinka that was declared wanted by Nigeria government during the war because he broke the Nigeria law by leaving Nigeria to Biafra, and he joined the Biafran army to fight Nigeria, and he was using his literary pen, which was at the time was described as more powerful than the sword and guns. Wole Soyinka defied the injustice in Nigeria when he was younger. He left Nigeria and he went to Biafra. But the older Wole Soyinka is angry with young people for not agreeing and obeying the order of the old order. And even that same Baba Soyinka, like all of us saw what happened. This is not even about Obi winning. That is where some of you are getting it wrong. You are getting it wrong. It's not about whether Obi will win or not. Whether Atiku or whether Tinubu will win or lose. You know what happened. All of you know what happened. They lied to these young people. They told them that if they are not happy, if they were not happy with the way Nigeria was being governed by APC, they should go and form political party. You all witnessed all of that now. Then they started their own political movement. A lot of you mocked them. You laughed at them. Abi? They were just 4 people tweeting in a room, but they were believing the lies they were told. They said, this is Nigeria. Nigeria is a great country. Election is going to be better. All you have to do is to get PVC. You all saw all of that. You were laughing at them. They had nobody to rig election for them. You know that. They had no money to pay the INEC that APC will not double or triple. How much will Labour Party gather in their online contribution of $10, $20, $50? How much money would they gather and pay INEC that will then rig election for them to win in Nigeria? How? You knew all of that. So you were laughing at them. When it comes to area boys, you call these local terrorists, thugs, political thugs, who are also on social media too, threatening, intimidating. You were laughing because you know that's Nigeria. That's Nigeria. But they were believing that the INEC Nigeria will do exactly what they said they would do. Okay? Everybody will want challenge us. Go to election. Abi, get PVC. Then it was time to give them their PVC. You started dumping PVC in Sokewe, in gutters, in dump sites. I remember telling them, I said, if it's going to be an experience for you, me that you are now calling Obidient today, you this Mayegun, you are talking because your candidate lost. So Obi is now my candidate. You know why? Because all of us who were here a year ago, it was convenient to lie, to mock them. Shebi? Abi? And I was one of those who was telling you that, are you guys sure that you are actually going to mock these guys, that these guys are not going to disrupt this your political space? Mayegun, forget. They have already written the results. Maybe so we all agreed. Election came. People will don't write results. People will get all the structure. They can't intimidate people, attack people. Can't they kill people? People will not get structure. People will not get money. Will not get INEC. Will not get anything. And all of you, you were waiting, you were watching them as if to say they deserved it. They deserve it, yeah? A lot of you actually said they deserved it. You want them. But what a lot of you didn't admit then was that you'd never expected them to do exactly what they did in 2023 election. Forget about winning now. They shocked the rest of you. Look at the whole system now. Look at the whole country now. Does that look like they were people you said they were, the people you were mocking a year ago? Today, you are now calling them the problem. You are calling them sore losers. You are denying everything that happened to them. After you told them that there will be nothing, so many of you were even putting money. You were saying that if they score 100,000, you will give them 1 million. If Obi scored this or that, you change everything to tribal war, religious war, and then you turned around. You put it on them. We are all watching everything now. So the regular problem of Nigerians, Stockholm syndrome, people like Wole Soyinka and many others, they are helping to change the narratives now. Peter Obi is causing problem to divide Nigeria. Obedient people, they must be dealt with because they hate Nigeria. Suddenly, all of you who love your criminals differently anyway, you are now changing the story. Ha! And that is why when people say, respect elders, should you respect elders who are liars too? Wole Soyinka came from nowhere after all of that. And he said, these Obidient were fascists. Do you understand the meaning of fascism? Fascism is when you have people who harmed themselves after believing in an ideology, okay? And they believe that anybody who doesn't accept that ideology deserves to be killed. You either accept it or you die. That is what APC did now. Have you seen anywhere where you will say these people are Peter Obi supporters? And they just make the threat. And they said they are going to kill, or they are going to this, or they are going to disrupt this, or make any threat anywhere during, or let's say before, during, and after your charade elections. So that is what I told the Obedients themselves. I said they will rig you out. They will rig you in a way that you will never believe it. Then they will tell you to go to court. And you will go to court as well. Then the court will make it, they will make it even worse. You will become angrier. Then you see those people who didn't say anything when all of that were happening, they will then start attacking you, and they will be making things up, okay? And they will be blaming you. Baba, that is why some of my friends here on Mayegun's Diary Political will call me, after calling me Gio, they call me prophet too. Because everything I said happened. And I said, when he came out and he called them fascist, because they are using their phones to say, no, this. All the evidence about forgery, all the evidence about drug smuggling, drug trafficking, forfeiture, they no matter to this person. These were the talking points of this generation. These young people, they were talking about a drug dealer as their president. Somebody who forged the school certificate is their president, a known kleptomaniac, and you are gaslighting them. I don't understand. So, as he dropped the lumber when he called them fascist, people reacted. Why would you say that? I mean, even if you want to blame us for being overzealous, we haven't attacked anybody. But you are not saying anything about these other criminal gangs and what they have done. I mean, we were talking about the destruction of Nigeria by his friend, Bokwari. The same Bokwari. The the friend to Cornfessor Soyinka. The state at which Nigeria is right now, subsidy remover, job losses, devaluation of Naira, and all these things that have made life more hard for the people. He had no statement. He had nothing to say about the destructive APC, Egbekegbe of Bokwari. So the first time he had a chance to say something, do you know what he just said? He said, Peter Obi, listen to this. He said Peter Obi is a Gbajue 419. That he didn't win the election. Like I said, it's not about winning. Could people be at least honest that if INEC had followed their own rules, and if Tinubu has earned his elections, that everybody can see as everything happened, a lot of people will not realize that Peter Obi is just chasing shadow. In the middle of election, you stop the uploading of the presidential result alone. Others were working. And this is not concerning to the other statesmen in Nigeria that this is the genesis. If INEC had kind of followed their own rules, there would be nothing. As worse as you are, probably people will be complaining about vote buying, that they paid money. There will be no noise like this. But the likes of Cornfessor Soyinka, they would rather keep that to themselves. And right now, what he is now saying after calling them fascists is that Peter Obi is a liar. Labour Party knows that he didn't win any election. Sure you get. But there are some generals in Nigeria that are currently using Peter Obi to overthrow the government. Does that make any sense? This is a man of over 80 years old. This is a man that Fulani terrorist, called herdsmen, led their cows into his compound and he made breaking news. He had to run away from his own house for safety. This is a man that a lot of people actually respect so much, and they are fighting it within them to say what is actually on their mind about him because of how much respect they have for him. This is the man that just made an allegation. There are some retired generals. They are the ones using Peter Obi. They want to use him to overthrow Tinubu. She make sense. I'll show you.
These recent elections. It's unfortunate that because the two things happened, first of all. One party took over the labor movement, which is one of my favorite movements also. And then it became a regional party, more than, whereas it was a marvelous breach into the established two camps. Peter Obi achieved something remarkable there, that he broke that mold. Yes, however, he did not win the election. In addition, my own organization has a monitoring unit. You know the one I'm talking about. And so I could say categorically that Peter Obi's party came third, not even second. And that the leadership knew it. But they wanted to do what we call in Yoruba, Gbajue. That is, you have force of arms. You also have force of lies. And it was gearing up towards violence. They were going to send some of the hardliners, were going to send crowds, young people, into the streets to demonstrate. I'm always ready to be among such demonstrators, but only on the banner of truth, not of lies, not of deceit.
Cornfessor Soyinka. So let us review what he just said. According to him,
Obedience movement took over Labour Party. And it was a good idea. It's just like an abridgment between the two known political parties. So it would have been a breath of fresh air.
Professor Wole Soyinka just said that then the movement became a regional one. He is inferring that Labour Party became Igbo's party. Did you understand that? It said Obidient movement became Igbo movement, which means it defeated the purpose that they thought the movement would represent. I mean, like an option to either APC or PDP. You know, when somebody, an elderly person, like that, when they make a statement like that as a matter of fact, do you understand? And then turn around to say, and they knew this, oh, that the whole thing they are doing is now Gbajue, like fraud. Even when he is the one who is a fraud, but he's an old man, elderly man. He can't be a fraud anyway. He can't lie. I mean, why would he lie? Now let's take a look at that. The regional movement of Obidient defeated APC PDP in Abuja. The regional movement of Obidient, they defeated APC inside Aso Rock, defeated APC inside Akpo Villa, defeated APC PDP at all of the military barracks and police barracks across Nigeria. The regional movement of Labour Party, they won a seat for Kaduna House of Rep. The regional movement of Labour Party, they won several seats as well. They won a presidential election in Plateau State. Won presidential election almost across all Nigeria except just two regions, Northeast at Northwest, and we know why. A regional movement. So Professor Wole Soyinka called somebody Gbajue by just telling a lie. So, do you still think if you lose your home training because of somebody like that, do you not think it's worth it? When somebody who is old, experienced, but because of his relationship with those who are now in charge of government, those who have been there, APC, Egbekegbe, his own sworn enemy probably defends him out all through 16 years of PDP. Obasanjo defends him out. And it was easier to team up with a drug lord. To team up with a coupist, a genocidist, to team up with other criminals, and then to deceive Nigerians that they are coming to bring in change to Nigeria. 8 years after that, Nigerians are poorer, Nigeria are more terrorized, Nigeria is more corrupt, Nigeria is in a generational indebtedness. The human rights, scale in Nigeria is zero. Safety for Nigerians in Nigeria is zero. 8 years after that. And the rogues who brought Nigeria to this state, they are still enjoying all the loot. But tell me now, if you lose your home training because of somebody like this, you could what? Somebody that was also struggling because of Ijekuje. Ijekuje. Most of them that are just like courtesy, they call them courtesy. The politicians need them because with them, they can validate the crime and the criminality they are perpetuating in office. All they need is when your royal father now go to Abuja to go and meet your oppressive government. When you are talking about the the criminal government and you see your royal father standing next to him or next to them, a lot of you will be put off immediately and say, I don't want to say anything. Now my royal father did there, so I don't want to say anything. That's my bishop. I know what I would have said, though, if my bishop is not the one that is visiting them. All these things are psychological conditioning. And when they come out like this to lie, you begin to be like, where is their own sincerity? Because in Yoruba land, we have the Agbalagba, the good elders. We have the Agbayas, the useless elders. Okay? So we have Agbaoshi, the unfortunate elders. Okay? And I bet a lot of you have the same in your different ethnic nationalities too. Okay? So somebody who was struggling to talk about the relationship of his with the criminals, they were at least patronizing him then. I have a clip I'm going to share with you again in case if some of you will remember this. I never knew that Tinubu was a rice trader. I never knew that Cornfessor Soyinka was a rice trader. But, you know, in their own elite circle, where they are massaging themselves ego, when they say Tinubu is here, Fashola is there, Kiniko is here, Professor Wole Soyinka is there, they will now give him a special share. I will say Reverend Kuka is there. They say Archbishop Kiniko is there. Sultan of Sokoto is there. They will now put them in the front. They will say the distinguished guests in a space where they want to massage their egos, and sometimes a way to expose themselves. Now, Soyinka be this, I never know saying be rice trader. I bring this back to you, ladies and gentlemen.
As you know, he was a fugitive offender, like many of us here. Many other things. Former governor of Lagos State. But you see, and a businessman, or some of us within the anti-Abacha movement would not have survived. But then even for businessmen, successful businessmen, there comes a crunch. And during our period of exiled resistance, we looked for all kinds of means to raise funds, including even trying to print redeemable bonds. I think we did print redeemable bonds. We were so confident of victory that we said, look, let's print bonds and sell those bonds, and the opposition triumphs. And we designed those bonds. Incidentally, you may not remember this, apparently the symbol that we used during that time, which was supposed to be symbolic of growth, because it was a shrub. Apparently, that shrub looked very much like marijuana. We didn't know it at the time. Somebody pointed it out later on. But finally, Bola said, what are we going to do? We have to find funds. I said, well, you're the businessman. What can you do? I said, well, I've heard that there's a rice line between Taiwan and other places. I think that I can get a contract to sell rice between Taiwan and Africa. So I said, well, okay, go ahead and sell rice. He said, yes, but you see, they require letters of recommendation. And I said, well, so you have to write one. I said, me, I don't know anything about rice. I don't know anything about business. Nobel laureate. Write and say, we're trading in rice. Give the letter to me. I will take it to the government of Taiwan, and they will supply the rice. I will sell. I will use the money for the revolution. Then, after I came, we all came back. My house had been more or less made inhabitable, and I took a sort of pied à terre, a small place in Lagos where my house was being fixed. I began living there, but I found the work was so...
Show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are. So these are the characters that a lot of us actually grew up. We didn't know what was going on behind the scene. So that was Cornfessor Wole Soyinka, where he was kind of making up a story. You know, he's a storyteller. He's a writer. So he can stand there and make up anything. You know? So the picture he was painting there was that when they were fighting Abacha, and they were in exile, okay, Tinubu approached him because they needed money. They printed bond. Who did they sell the bond to? Bond on what? And people are sitting down, the educated people and some other clowns there. They were savoring them because those are the stories that you will take out of that gathering. And you'll be telling people in your office. You'll be telling your children. You'll be telling a lot of people. And these are just fabulies. But behind the scene, he said Tinubu is a businessman. So maybe people, Nigerian journalists, David Undenyi, you might possibly help us take a look at the Taiwan rice route. Wole Soyinka knows about the Taiwan rice route. So maybe if we dig better, you are likely going to find a lot. Because according to Cornfessor Soyinka, they made a lot of money from moving rice. And all Tinubu needed was just Cornfessor Soyinka's signature. Okay? Just to play along. Remember Osh Poppy? Yeah, Osh Poppy. Osh Poppy has the friend. And his name is Osh Taylor Kyari. Now, Osh Taylor Kyari is known in Nigeria as a senior anti-crime police officer nationally. Somebody who is fighting crime anywhere he show face. But he happened to be a friend to Abbas, Osh Poppy. Now, while Osh Poppy was running a scam, he needed Osh Taylor to help him arrest some other co-fraudsters who might want to disrupt his business at the time. So Osh Taylor had to go on, use the position of a police officer and arrested a fraudster, a Yahoo boy, and locked him up for another Yahoo boy elsewhere to complete the fraud. So what's the difference? Show me your friends and I can tell you who you are. You can't lie to me and then I see who you work with, who you roll with, and then you turn around and say, I'm only just, I'm guessing wrong. I'm not guessing. I'm saying it as it is. Cornfessor confessed there that he told Tinubu to use his name, write the letter, do whatever, I will take it to Taiwan government for you. They will release the rice. What kind of rice? When was Tinubu a businessman, a trader? Trading between Taiwan and Africa. Which part of Africa? Guinea Conakry. We know, So, Cornfessor Wole Soyinka has raised, and recently they have been saying that they have to arrest Peter Obi because of all of you. The Obidient. You are using your phones. They are scared that you are going to mobilize and eat the streets. In Niger Republic, the people have been on the streets for months now. In Syria alone, after the fraudulent election, people have hit the streets. In Nigeria, they will tell you to leave it for God. Because if you hit the streets, you are going to disrupt the entire establishment plan and their money-making enterprise called Nigeria, which happened to be a territory, not a country. Somebody did an explanation about country, nation, states, and territory. And Nigeria actually fell into territory. Mobad Soyinka. Listen to this one,
have now been pushed to the fringes, talking about and believing and espousing the belief that Nigeria truly should be one.
We need to begin by resolving a conceptual crisis. What do I mean by a conceptual crisis? Quite often when we speak about Nigeria, we collapse the distinction between country, state, and nation. We tend to think that the three mean the same. We tend to think the three are synonyms. A country is a territory. From the Latin contra terra, the land that lies ahead of you. A country is a territory. It is not necessarily a nation. A nation is an association of peoples, and I use that word in the plural deliberately because of diversity. A nation is an association of peoples who identify their shared core values. And on the basis of their shared core values, they give themselves a constitution which will now establish institutions that make up the state. What we have in Nigeria and in most African countries is a confusion where we think the nation is the state. The nation is reduced to the state. We have a country quite all right by the fact that we live within a territory, even if that territory is not secure, as we all know. But we don't have a nation. We have institutions that make up the state. We collapse the nation into the state. If you look at our constitution, section 2 of the current constitution, and you don't find this in the 1963 constitution, it ascribes sovereignty not to the people but to the state. That is dangerous. That means the state has the last say on any question. That means the state is more powerful than the citizen. That is a recipe for impunity. Because as we all know, the state is the head of state, or the governor, or whoever represents them. Whatever they say, we all have to comply, whether they're right or wrong. So we don't have a democracy in the true sense of the word.
Oh my God.
And until we have that, until we build a nation, we can't even talk of unfinished greatness. And I have to make a critique of the title of Governor Fayeme's book. It presupposes that there is a project that is unfinished. I am saying we have not even started the project.
Oh my God.
And we need to stop deluding ourselves. What are our shared core values? What are the things that bring us together, apart from the super egos? You know, when I had this experience, 2013, I was visiting a place called Do in Plateau State. The Plateau State governor is here. I got to Do the Friday before the Nations Cup final between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. And there was tension everywhere. But on Sunday night, when Nigeria won the game, the final match, the tension dissipated. And most people forget the fact that a young man from southeastern Nigeria received the ball from a young man from Pangshin who had to leave Nigeria because his parents were killed. Victor Moses passed the ball to Sondemba. Sondemba scored the goal. And we didn't even ask about the local government of origin of the scorer of the goal. So what are our shared core values? If you ask the Americans, they talk of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't have one. And it is when we begin to identify our shared core values that we begin to build a nation. What we have right now is a state held together at gunpoint. And when the state begins to oppress the citizen, there'll be cries of marginalization, there'll be secessionist and separatist agitation, there'll be insecurity. Now we have set up Nigeria to be a place where the state is more powerful than the citizen, and the state is oppressive. We need to retrace our steps. Quite often, Nigerians ask, which is the way forward? And I say, if you are moving in the wrong direction, you shouldn't be going forward. You should make a U-turn.
Need I say more? I'm not going to ruin it for you. I am going to let you digest everything he said there. Nigeria is not a state, okay? Nigeria is a state. I mean, Nigeria is not a state of a shared value. Nigeria is a state that is forced together by the force of gun. And in all honesty, what is said, the last statement, that if you are going on a wrong direction, there's no point in asking what is the way forward other than for you to make a U-turn and go a different direction? When there is injustice, it will fuel and create, so it will create and fuel all these separatist groups. They will have people because they will always, like I said, the state is more powerful than the citizens. The citizens cannot choose their own leaders. A country that's practiced democracy for 24 years cannot conduct election where citizens can choose. Now, citizens cannot protest because the state is more powerful than the citizens. So what you have is, you have the impunity, right? The next you are going to have is going to be an implosion. So that last statement of if you are going a direction and you can see there is no road there and it's a wrong direction, the next thing is to make a U-turn and go back. It's not different from us saying if you are doing same thing again and again and you are expecting a different result, it's a sign of madness. Insanity, but na madness. But these guys want us to continue to go that direction. They want to continue to gaslight the young people whose life and future are being gambled away. They don't care. Of course, there are other young people who don't care too. Fine. They may not care about their own lives. But if you want to run a country, you cannot run a country this way. Gaslighting young people and changing their demand, changing their views to something that it is not. And then expecting, setting them up. Ignoring all other danger that they have to actually endure. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? This happened, and it never, I don't think it ever moved him. Confessor. God, okay, I think it's this.
Please, if you don't want vote for us, please sit down for sit down for thank you very much.
When the police was notified of that video a day before election, and then on the day of election, the police came out and they said he was joking. People were bleeding due to the attacks from these local terrorists, especially in Lagos. Police said, well, it is, it is disobedient, this Igbo. They were saying no man, I mean, this Lagos is no man's land, and they were justifying it. None of these guys was ever was either questioned or arrested or tried. Okay? But you see those who are pressing phone, Abba, they are the real enemy. And that is the narrative that those who are supposed to be the elders, who are seeing all of this, instead of them to be honest and truthful, at least, don't destroy your own graves. Be honest, be truthful. What do you have to lose? What? At that age. But they would rather work with their, the same oppressive system, okay, in order to further cage you. And if the system is going to kill you, they will be the first to come out and say, you deserve that because you are pressing phone. Somebody had this for him.
My fraternal greetings to everyone. Today I want to talk about the incoherence upon incoherence of Wole Soyinka. Enough is enough. We've tolerated this man for a long time. It's a big shame to the literary community. Wole Soyinka, you are simply and squarely one of the intellectual idiots we have in this country. You are a man without principles, a thoroughbred and incurable hypocrite. That's what you are, and nothing less. No wonder it is argued that your so-called Nobel Prize you won in 1986 emanated from the boardroom of politics. And now it is true. Your attitude, your everything, your actions and inactions give credence to those assertions. If we want to talk about men of integrity, let's begin to contemporaries. Are we talking about Chinua Achebe, the immortal sage and father of modern African literature? Are we talking about J.P. Clark, Africa's most lyrical poet? Or are we talking about Neo Sundare, the scourge of tyrants? Or are we talking about Christopher Okibo, who lived and died for what he believed in? Are we talking about Gabriel Okara? Who are we going to juxtapose you with, Wole Soyinka? Those names I mentioned are names that we can all go to invoke as a source of pride and for moral inspirations. They are men who have engraved their names on the marble of integrity. Unblemished men, men of integrity, men who are conscious of their good names, their global good names. But that is not you, Wole Soyinka. Your son served as a commissioner for health in Ogun State. He destroyed the health sector in that state, looted everything and left. He left the health sector in Ogun State in shambles. That is your own son. Which of the sons of your contemporaries has smeared their father's name in that way? Mention one. Today's government is 100 times worse than the GEJ's government. None of you came out to protest. You even wrote describing the wife of GEJ as a hippopotamus and the president himself, GEJ, as a King Nebuchadnezzar. But everything happened in this government. People like you never came out to protest. But a few days ago, you came out to call the youths fascist and talking rubbish. Please go and sit down.
Are you following? I mean, let us be truthful. Don't be hypocrite. I mean, if you want to be, if he says he's a member of APC, at least you will deal with that. That we are okay, we are dealing with APC member. Why are you hiding behind that name? That name that a lot of people actually grew up and they were like, that iconic image and all that. Why would you actually throw all of that out? And then go straight after the young people who are fighting for their lives. And you leave out those who actually publicly, online, offline, threaten people because of where they come from. Then you turned around. The same Wole Soyinka just turned around and said, Obidient movement is Igbo movement, but he couldn't say it. Just exactly what the APC, Egbekegbe always kind of, So you are the wrong ones, bad losers. Bad losers. They want to burn Nigeria. They want to overthrow Tinubu. So that's dog whistle. So when those ones start talking now, they will say, Professor Wole Soyinka already said it now. Do you know that they are already working to overthrow Tinubu and install Peter Obi? That's how stupid they can be. I'm not going to be surprised though. They are already calling for his arrest. A fraudulent election that has divided Nigeria instead of uniting Nigeria. A ruined country by the APC, Egbekegbe, that deserves no political office again in Nigeria, in all sense of it. APC, PDP, they should never be seen anywhere. But look at what they are doing. And all of you, the humbled slaves, generational slaves, you already shared your oppressors. You are fighting for PDP, fighting for APC, and you are telling them, this is the Igbo. Igbo will never be kiniko, like in a country whereby they force all of you together. Do you think you have a country? Do you think so? Well, time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, before I get to that part where I'm going to take calls, I am about to take you on a journey that is likely going to leave you in tears and angry. Okay? Ordinarily, I am not a fan of this Nigeria young talent. I don't really, not like their musical, because I kind of have all this selection of music in my car. That's the only time I actually listen to music, when I'm inside my car. But I don't really know these guys. But 3 days ago, there was a breaking news. And thanks to Twitter, when the news broke that a young talent called Mobad is dead.
the reactions of everybody was like, I think that brought back the memory of, for somebody like me, when I kind of started following, what happened? What was that? Like, what happened to him? That Green was the one that came to my own. They're like, well, in my own time, it was that Green that was this young, sharp talent that some of us just keyed into. I bet those who were older then, were wondering what was that Green singing. Because that's how I feel now. When I listen to some of their songs, I'm like, what's that? But you see, this young man, they announced that he is dead. Kilo Shele. How could a young man just die? Then information started filled. This is him. 27 years old. So I didn't know him sincerely, but I know about the Malians. And I think I've spoken about the Malians one time ago. If some of you have been a regular on Mayegun's Diary Political, if you remember, when they arrested Naira Marley for credit card fraud. You remember that time? And it was kind of displayed. And then I was like, well, I was digging, Naira Marley has always been like a criminal, but you can say he's a reformed criminal. This guy was arrested for drug running. What is that called? Possession of drug to distribute. He was a drug dealer at the age of 19 years. He was arrested for drug dealing. He was arrested for sexual assault. He was arrested for armed robbery in Lewisham in London when he was just 19. So to some people, it was like he turned his life around. And look at him, a great talent, okay? Is like, inspiring other young people to use their talent, okay? To what? To change their lives instead of going into life of crime. So it was like that. But how come after that fame, they arrested him for credit card fraud in Nigeria? What did they stop? They were actually into a lot. And the death of this guy, this young man, has opened a can of worm. And this is not even just Naira Marley anymore. And it was after the announcement of his death that I realized that Nigerians, they have celebrity criminals. Celebrity criminals, Ike. Celebrity criminals do. If you are on, for example, now if I am live like that, I am live now. These celebrity criminals, mostly in Lagos anyway, they can come around and just drive down right now. And they can come and drag me out of my house when I'm still live here. And they will now start their own life where they are beating me up because I just insulted one of them. Or I just said something that they didn't like. They said these celebrity criminals in Nigeria, they have their own police guard, they have their own this, you know what I mean? They are so connected that when we started tracing everything entered the Tinubu backyard, as people are talking about Mobad and everything that happened to him, all the informations that started coming out, drug dealing, entertainment industry in Nigeria, drug dealing and drug running and drug selling and all of that. And those who are running all these places and all these things, they have direct connection with Pablo Escobar. As then they go to Dubai with him, then they go to Mecca with him, they are in Abuja with him, they are everywhere. You can't touch them. You can't report them. Wait. Are you serious? Mayegun, you have no idea. These ones are not NURTW. They are like courts. The name of their own court group. It's not like your regular court. This one's like, they're like father of all courts because they have the political connection. That if Tinubu became president means if you cross their line, Baba, if you cross their line, Otilo Niel. When I was following the whole thing for the first time, when I saw the life of this young man, what they did to him, even what they are still doing right now, even after his death, Baba, I realized that I may be like a strong man. If I happen to be in Nigeria, they go shape me or kill me. Trust me, the fear alone that you have nobody to report them to. You are on your own. They will kidnap you. Okay? Beat you bloody. Make video of it. Brag about it. and warn others that if we catch you too, you see what we do to Mayegun? If we catch you, I said, eh? He said, Baba, no cross them. Oh. Now, let me now tell you the story. Mobad, based on what I have managed to pick so far. Now, you see this young man, few years back, okay? He's originally from Korodu, okay? That came from a very, very humble background. Now, you know, these days, if you are good, once you put your content on social media, online, and it goes viral, if you are really good, you are likely going to get, what do you call it? You're going to get the attention you need, and you may get support and sponsor. So this young man, Mobad, they said, with all his own boys, all his guys within the hood in Ikorodu, doing their freestyle here and there. One of their freestyle video made it online, and it went viral on TikTok or so. Like millions of people saw it. It was around the time that Naira Marley was also kind of reigning. So he started the Malian record. Now, in that Malian record, it was like a record to rehabilitate and help young people from the hood. So that you saw those big album, what do you call them? All big producer, you know, labels. They call them labels. All those big labels. Most of them are not really interested in this young talent. So Naira Marley attracted these young kids, including Mobad. And since they had their own audience online, and then Naira Marley himself had his own audience online, it was like all they needed to do was just to stream. So to them, this guy was dropping hit after hit. And Naira Marley was also their own key into the entertainment show world, which means it will ensure that you book them for show. They appear here and they get paid, apart from the streaming money and all that. That was the arrangement. Okay? But it wasn't long that people sensed that they started having problems. What could be wrong? Is it money? What could be this or that? So they said Naira Marley was accusing him of drug overuse. Okay? That is gotten so bad that he will just forget his own password. Password to his Instagram, password to his social media account, password to his bank account. You know, it's like forgetful. To make it worse, is forgetting his own line when they are trying to like record or they are performing elsewhere. So it's sort of like he's losing his mind, kind of. And the guy was like, no, this is the situation. Okay? The rumor has it that bringing all of them together with the intention of promoting their talent for music, there is more underneath. They said many of them were subjected to ritual oath taking. Now, that could be speculation, no problem, but I heard it. All right? Ritual oath taking that they will be loyal to their group, which happen to now look like more or less like not a label, okay, record label, but a cult group. And they said this guy kind of rejected or so. So they said they gave him time. Remember, he's already there. Everybody already seeing his face and all that. Oh, he signed a contract, so there shouldn't be any issue. But during all of that time, they said behind the scene, they were giving him time to think about it. Because underneath, it is not just that music. When I say drug, some of you think it's about drug abuse. This is not even just about drug use now. They were using these young men as drunk mule. You know what is called that? Drunk mule. I mean, drug mule. Mules who are like, you will see them as stars, but they are also drug peddlers, selling drugs, and then sometimes they use them in ferrying drugs out of Nigeria. Do you understand that? A very serious allegation, Abi. I did my findings, Baba. That's how much shocked I am. No, at that point, they said, when Naira Marley was accusing him, there was actually an intended plan
of the young man to leave him. It was I was going to leave their record label. And it was like, no, you can't just leave. No, leave Bao. So you now go out there and what? Go and tell everybody about what? So they put up a PR together. A PR together to make sure that, number one, the fact that he's not following what they're asking him to do, he must be punished until he comes back to his senses. Then another thing is that they need to let the world know that if he starts saying anything or he starts behaving somehow, it is because he is a drug addict. And he, Naira Marley, knows him very well than anybody might say out there. So they started a PR, okay? But at the same time, Baba, they started bullying him. I'm not talking about threats, I am talking about physical beating. Bloody face, bloody nose, bloody, beat him like a superstar. Ha! Baba, at least in today's time, in this day and time, these are guys who have intellectual properties that are being streamed by millions and millions of people every day. These guys have billions of streaming and all that. They are superstars to their generation. But guess what? The Lagos thugs, the Malian, all of them is not Naira Marley that they fear much. It is the force behind him. You remember, these are young men from very, very poor background. When I say very, very poor, I'm talking about the hood. You understand? That every opportunity is like a blessing. Omo, they have signed me the 5 million naira, Malian record. I just need to continue and work hard. Maybe one day, me say I'll be superstar. It's an opportunity for them. Only to realize that they only assemble them for drug running. A very big allegation, Abi. Okay. Guess what happened? They started hunting him everywhere. It's like saying everywhere you see him, beat him. If he says they should go and get him from his house, they will bring him and they will beat him. Bloody nose, bloody mouth, everything. It got to a stage. He reported to the police. Okay? He petitioned the police that they should save his life. That these guys want to kill him. He's going into depression. He's done nothing wrong. And all of that. This was in June this year. Okay? And the police ignored him. You know why? Remember that the same Naira Marley, this one, is NDLEA ambassador. Remember that. Okay? And that's his own mugshot there. Okay? When they were looking for him, wanted at the age of 19, a drug dealer at the age of 19 in London, a drug dealer, what do you call it? A sexual assaulter, and on. Now, just so you know that when he now go back to Nigeria and he's now Naira Marley, you see that guy on the right, his name is Sam Larry. Now, Sam Larry is a celebrity criminal. People know him on Instagram, on TikTok. They have another one called Abu Abel. Abu Abel is also another social media, another celebrity criminal. These guys have connections in almost major places of the world. In London, they can track anybody down in London, right? Deal with you, beat you up and all of that. And you know what I mean? Like, even kill you if they have to, right? So that was when I was like, celebrity criminal, on the celebrity criminal, wow. How many of you remember that NSAS guy? His name is Adagun. Adagosha. Do you see him? So now you see on the left,
the one at the top left, that happened to be the spokesperson for the Nigerian police force. Sure you get now, eh? Those are their connections. So Abu Abel, Sam Larry, they are the terror to some of these young talents in Nigeria and even outside Nigeria. Sure you get, they can always get people to come and. Now you see that Sam Larry is also the one circled at the bottom picture. Sure you get, eh? With Tinubu in Mecca or so. Awon Shiwaju. Now take a look at this picture. First, let me go back to this. Take a look at the picture circled on the top right. That is Adagun Osha. All right? The guy that was unleashed on the NSAS protesters at Alausa in Ikeja on the 19th of October 2020. That's him. Now, take a look at this picture on the left. See that red circle again. That's Adagun Osha. Now, see the yellow circle again. That is Sam Larry. This is their circles. Now, when you see Sam Larry, Naira Marley, and their uncle, remember him. Sowo Iku.
And the only way out for us is to continue to do that in the next 4 years. This particular aspirant, as you all know, you can go and check it, the records are there. This is somebody that has been arrested for spending fake American dollars in a nightclub in America. And he's been detained for months. And he knows that he has won mob shots for months before this whole thing was quenched. He's also known that he doesn't have the competence to do what he's being propelled to do. The records are there in Bagara General Hospital. This is somebody that has gone for rehabilitation before. We don't want to go too far, but we know. Are we not?
Oṣó ni, àjẹ́ ni, ẹlẹ́bọlóògùn ni, amániṣẹ́ ni, afàìmániṣẹ́ ni, wọ́n á fi yín sílẹ̀.
So, are you following this? Now, let's now go back to Mobad. So, when he reported to the police, do you now see the people that he was reporting to the police and why Nigeria police did nothing until they kill him? It got to a stage. There are many other things, which you can say are also coming out now from the side of his family. I'll get those one. It's just like a side. So they will see him anywhere. Everywhere. This young man came to London and he was meant to appear in a video shoot. In London, UK, United Kingdom, the young man was so terrified, so terrified that he couldn't show up at the location, at the address. And he kept changing location. It's like saying, okay, where are you? Where are you now? I am somewhere. I'm coming. He didn't show up until 6 p.m. in the evening. That's how terrified he was, even outside Nigeria. So they did, according to what we heard, they, apart from the beating, they ensured that all the places where normal it should be featuring in based on his crafts and his coverage, but because he failed to go back to Naira Marley, he was cut off all those opportunities. He was battling his life. He was battling and he was calling for help. Nobody came to his aid. 2 days ago, they said he complained of hair problem. Ear infection, they called it. Take a look at this video quickly and tell me, What kind of beating will get so bad, I mean, so in, that you can see the bruises, but nobody is paying attention to the inside. This young man was subjected to over a year bullying, beating, torturing, kidnapping, mental torturing, and on. Then suddenly he developed ear problem. Yala omakuni. There is a video where he was shooting a musical video with Slantan. You know Slantan? He was shooting a video with Slantan, and they were there, action. As they were moving, these guys showed up. Sam Larry with cutlass and cane. Superstar. Somebody was supposed to be superstar. They were doing all of that to him, and Nigerian police didn't save him. I told you, they won't save anybody. If he gets more money now, gone are the days when they will say, in this country, you should just have money. Money talk, bullshit work. Not in Nigeria. It's not in Nigeria. Nigeria is a crime scene. That money talks, bullshit work that you are saying, you are just making yourself feel good. Ordinary, all of these thugs, they will naked you. They will beat you blue black, and nothing is going to happen, even with your money. Rich people will get money. People will get position, get everything. They are bowing for them. That's what I've been told. You know why? Because they've got the connection. So do you see why I said, Kilonshin Nigeria? Come back home. Come back home. Titani. Come back home to the criminals who are now more powerful than your police and every other security agent in Nigeria. Do you think that's a country? Do you still think that's a country? Up north, when they kidnap you, if your family manage to pay, if they have mercy on you, you come back alive. Abi, Northern Nigeria, you are gone because anybody send you. In Southern Nigeria, where these ones are like kings on their own, they can take life, they can do whatever they can. All they have to do is just to go underground a little while, and they'll come back again on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. They kidnapped DJ Chicken. I didn't even know that. A lot they happen. So many of us, we have been taking life too serious. Following why we are discussing the destruction of Nigeria, impoverishment of Nigeria, the destruction of the future of Nigerians. People are building nests of criminals who are so bold and connected. Baba, you will be so surprised that that's still actually Nigeria. It's so bad. They call the boy DJ Chicken. I think it's somebody who had a big mouth like me. Maybe not like me, because now when you born me, they talk. If I use Yoruba all the time, I would have said a lot of things that would make some people buy ticket from Nigeria and come to the UK and say, you know what, I would rather go to jail than allow this guy to continue to knock us like this. I won't go beat him. Then maybe they arrest me at the go jail. In Nigeria, DJ Chicken, the guy they yarn. They say me they go carry him. Abu Ebel, another thug, celebrity thug. Abu Ebel, Baba Abel, Abu Ebel, Baba Abel. You know what I mean? They beat this guy like he stole something, Baba. The video is online. Nobody is arrested by the Nigerian police. Nobody. Because not them. So the guy that attacked the NSAS protesters, Adagun Osha, see him here. Cooling off and enjoying the comfy zone of the big boys. So when you come across them, who are you going to report them to? So when they got in one of the videos of the assault on this young man, take a look at this one.
What you won't do? No. You don't do. You mean the beef you got?
You see what I'm married to Mobad? See?
You don't do what you won't do. What you won't do? No. You don't do. You mean the beef you got?
You see what I'm married to Mobad? See?
Sam Larry. So they said he paraded himself as a prince from, what is that, their family in Lagos again? Hang on. The political Oba created by Kolu, Elegushi royal family.
So they were the one who said, well, the Elegushi royal family of Etiosa wishes to put on record the misinformation on the media space involving Samson Eri Folami Balogun, aka Sam Larry. Samson, which is the one in the middle in that picture. It says Samson Balogun is not a member of the royal family and does not work for the royal family or king in any capacity. Like other celebrities, politicians, religious and community leaders, he visits the palace to pay homage to the king and seek royal blessings, just like other members of the public. While extending our condolences to the family and friends of late Ileri Oluwa Aloha, known as Mobad. That is Mobad's name, by the way, Ileri Oluwa. And that is like a God's promise. We would like to add our voice to the cause for a thorough investigation into circumstances surrounding his death, with a view to unraveling any foul play. We ask for friends in the media to be mindful of the sensitivity of the issue and desist from spreading falsehood that may jeopardize this investigation. Ekori Burukudanu. Whoever typed that from the office of Elegushi, that is them trying to say, hey, they were aware the kind of person that Sam Larry is. So immediately, that young man complained of a hair problem. They took him to an hospital or a chemist where a nurse injected him. And moments later, he died. Could he be suffering from internal bleeding? Could he be suffering from incessant attacks from these criminals? Others are saying that he was hit with a charm. Juju? I don't think that. But for the sake of those who knows anyway, I want to go along with the theory of endless beating. Have you seen where these guys are beating people? They really want to teach a lesson. Have you seen them before? The violence and the vulnerability of their victims. Have you witnessed some of the videos before? The unsettling situation whereby you see people who are helpless, and then you see the guys who live like lords, and they will be like, nothing will happen, nothing. We are the government. How do you comprehend and play around that with your head? How do you kind of, manage that in your head and still call that a country? That's what you're up against. So, in case if you don't know, any of us can be their victim. Not me, anyway, not physically. Not this one, so. For those ones who go beat me, blue, black, it go be their own leaders. They go just send these ones, make them go kill me. Because these ones will act like assassin. Because if you want, I'm not somebody you can just, even in Nigeria, I'm not somebody you can just see and just grab me like that without a fight. Especially knowing what I'm up against. So therefore, it's just going to be like, if you see I'm kill him. That will be my own choice. Not these ones. Because of whatever I see on social media. But take a look at it. That is what Nigeria is. You can report criminals. You can show all the evidence and the rest of that. Police will tell you, you are just overreacting. They didn't actually mean all of that. So Mobad died and all hell let loose. Sam Larry is on the run. Some of their men, some of their guys, they have decided to maintain a low profile. Initially, it was more or less like, oh yeah, let's show sympathy. But when all the things started coming out, all of the evidence started coming out, Baba. So now let's go over to these guys. Using young artists as drug mules. Some of these clubs that you have all over the place in Nigeria today, you will see so many of them, they will say they are club owners, billionaires, drug dealers. And when you look at their old circle, when you see all of their circle, you can tell who is their patron, Tinubu. It is like opening a Taiwan Rice line in the 80s. Angono. Cornfessor Soyinka Gosef. If I say Cornfessor Soyinka Gosef, it don't carry us bobo. So, anyway,
the rice line, sha, the Taiwan, abiti Guinea Conakry, or whatever it is. When you look at all these guys, and then you see their godfather, and you look at the politics of Nigeria, and then you look around again and say, well, do you need anybody else to explain this to you? That you are already living in a banana republic where lawlessness is actually the order of the day. Whether you want, you know, a lot of people are now having to kind of comply, coexist with them. They are the danger people know, and they have to avoid. Criminals, criminals. They are also the boyfriends of some of their actors and actresses in Nigeria, by the way. They have so much money. And then we realize that, where could that come from now? Obviously, drug dealing, not just the music anymore. And they said, with all the revelations that are now coming out, that is now leading to, okay, go and investigate. Investigate who? They know that in another 3-4 days, or let's maximum measure, in another 2 weeks, a lot would have happened in Nigeria that you won't even remember the Mobad. But I felt so bad for the young man. I felt so bad. Like, you know, if you are the type that actually grew up, not with any spoon for your mouth. You know, some people, they will say, oh, he was born with a silver spoon. Some will say, we were born with a wooden spoon. I say, we are from the humble beginning. About those English and all of that you are using to describe yourself. Some of us, when them born us, spoon no day, whether na wood, whether na stone, whether na metal, no spoon at all. There are people who grew up like that. So when you come out of that struggle of childhood, where you saw your parents struggled all their lives, and yet they couldn't really provide enough. And as a young man, you sort of strive to want to kind of, make something out of life. And at that age, it happened. And there you are. Those who are supposed to nurture you, mentor you, they would rather have you kind of conditioned the way they want it to be, even if they have to kill you. They torture this young man, not only the physical ones, the mental torture. That he had a son, Baba. This guy gave birth to a son. Now, until he died, people started hearing that he had a son 4 months ago. That's how scared he was. And nobody came to help him. Nobody. Yeah, he had some friends who were supporting him. I'm talking about helping him out of the hands of these criminals. Today, he's dead. Okay? And yeah, like every other thing that has been happening in Nigeria, Nigeria has happened to him. Nobody is going to, because now, somebody died in the evening of Tuesday. By 10 o'clock on Wednesday, he is not a Muslim. They've already started digging to bury him. Why the rush? Where they are digging to bury him, they started accusing his wife. It is that his wife. It must be that his wife that kill him. If anybody is they should warn her. If she comes here, we will take everything. If she brings that car, that car that he just bought. If she brings that car here, we will collect the car. We will collect the key to the house from her. We will collect all the musical right of. I was like, what the hell? They haven't even buried him. They were fighting for where to dig to bury. While they were digging, they were already, to the point that when they finally buried him, it was done so hurriedly that you will be asking, why? I mean, why? Like, there's so much to see come out to. Then, some of his own friends, like those who are like other young people who have also made names for themselves when it comes to using their talent in this, you know what I mean? Like, they've done well. The cutest baller, and some of other guys who went there to pay their respects inside that same Lagos. Mind you, Princess Enyara Kodu, is Kodu part of Lagos, by the way? Still part of Lagos. We know that Ikorodu is Ijebu. Say say Ikorodu is Ijebu. I don't want to start fight too. I just know say the Anyogbures and the rest, we are Ijebus, but anyway, you can also have other, what have you. Lagos, Ikorodu is part of Lagos, Abi. Make I just keep my mouth shut. Is Ikorodu part of your mega city? Abi part of your mega slum? I keep quiet. Mind your business, man. You can continue talking. Okay. On that one, I agree with you. I'll mind my business. Okay? So those who went there to pay their last respect, right? To this young man that died suddenly. No autopsy, no nothing. But hurriedly buried. Baba, waiting their eyes see. My eyes self see am. It no good. I'll show you. I mean, like if you ask them, they will tell you, waiting our eyes see for Mobad burial. My yegun, it no good. Because me self see am.
Carry me. Easy. Make I no come fall down again. Come they go hospital again. No, I beg. Easy. Why we go bust out for road, Gongo? How many minutes? 5. Well done. Come on, what's it? Love about you. And the guy with the car, now in face, so I don't show your face like this, so I never go back.
The mega shitty. Those guys left their cars when the mob, the thugs, attacked them for coming to pay their respects. To Ileri Oluwa, Mobad. So they had to get people to go and help them get their cars. So after getting themselves to safety, far, far away from the place. So they said they were going to deal with his wife. You know, typical poor people in Nigeria. Once you begin to make money, young soldiers, look at me very well. Oh. Any of you, this one is not even just about the young, even our older uncles, daddies and mommies. This goes with you as well. You can also make sure your children, they do the same. The moment you begin to make money, and you marry, whether you marry somebody or you have a child, the moment you begin to make money, begin to set your priority. Oh, sure, you get me now? Nobody is guaranteed tomorrow. You know, that is why when people want to use, what do you call it? Getting old or making it in life as the reason why they don't want to speak the truth, because they don't want their pastor to curse them so that they will not go and die like Agbalumo. Sure, you get? I don't want to die like Agbalumo. I don't want to die like Agbalumo. Because they don't want to die. They don't want to say the truth. They don't want to offend their pastors. They don't want to offend their mamalawos, babalawos, the witches and the wizards, all of them. They don't want to offend them because they want to live long. They don't want to die young. Forgetting the fact that nobody has control over that. In a country like Nigeria, it is easier for you to die young than anywhere else in the world. That's a fact, because what will kill you in Nigeria is 100% sure. Some of them, 100% sure, they can never kill you elsewhere. Do you understand? And that is why when people say, hey, chauffeur dagba like this, you see, when the Oloribruku elders, the Oloribruku old men and women, who don't give a damn about us actually getting old without being depressed at the age of 25 because of the economic destruction they have brought upon us. Young people are suffering depression every now and then because they have to survive in that contraption. Now, the people will say everything they are doing will kill us anyway. If we get to 40, 45, they say, well, we have lived long enough. Life expectancy in Nigeria, 45, 47. What does that tell you? It simply means they didn't wish us to grow old anyway. So you better just say your mind. Just say your mind. Because what does it matter? You are not in control of it. Even though they are doing everything to make sure that you die young anyway. There is no better hospital. Your children are not having access to better education. Okay? Ignorance everywhere. No better infrastructure. No security. So you're going to die young anyway. If you grow older, may God not keep us alive because of poverty. So all their actions is already against you. Why don't you just speak your mind? If you go die young, if you go grow old, it doesn't matter anymore. At least you will satisfy yourself that, you didn't die, just die. You already lived. There are many people who will never live. There are many people who are so scared of death. They are so scared of death that they will never live. Why don't you just, I want to live old, though. I want to grow old, though. Only for them to be what? To be caught in their prime. At least you are seeing that every day in Nigeria, but that's not the point. To somebody like me who already have that kind of mentality, death is death is actually not the end per se. That is why you have to first live. If you don't live and you die, you are just a statistic. So, young soldiers, don't let death scare you. Don't let anybody use death to make you, to condition your mind. You need to live and live free. The fact that you want to live and live free, also at the same time, always let the mortality of that death. Don't be scared about it. What are you going to do? If I sit down here now and it's about the time for me to die, Baba, waiting I won't do. Waiting. If something happened now that, and I'm like, I say, am I going to stand up? Am I going to stand up? I will the law. Now go consider this. Mi ò rí irú ikú yìí rí o. Ọlọ́run mà tóbi lọ́ba o. Irú ikú wo lélẹ́yìí and the rest. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ dẹ̀ wà láyé lẹ́ máa sọ gbogbo yẹn. But the fact that you are still here, young soldier, the moment you begin to make money, set your priority. If you have a chance that you have somebody you are in love with, and this person, either you are already married or not married, if you have planned for them and you are beginning to make something, begin to pen and set your priority, so that you will not do all of the work, suffer all the suffer alone, and the people who have no idea how you came by and then you break through, they will now be the ones to now decide who is going to have right to your properties and everything. Mobad has a son. His son is 4 months old. At his burial, some people who have no idea how he was running his life, they were already planning on how they're going to deal with his wife. Don't let that be your case. If you don't have wife or anything, when you begin to make money, if now your parents you want to set the priority on, set it on them. There's nothing wrong in that. It's not because you are wishing to die. Don't think that setting your priority, if anything happened to me today, give everything to my mom and dad, or give it to my mom. It's not because you want to die. It is simply because if that should happen, your family will not have to, the people who you love, they will not have to agonize twice, losing you, then losing everything that could have actually kept them connected to you. I hope this young man will get justice, and his wife will get every support she deserves, and his son will have a future that he truly, truly, truly deserves. But this is so bad, right? That I couldn't ignore it. And knowing the characters behind the whole thing, it just makes much sense that there will be more victims. This is just the first one that just came to public. I'm going to make another tea. I'm going to take calls before we call it night. You can still like my broadcast, by the way. Like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. All right? And when I get back, I will take calls. Okay? Don't go anywhere yet. I like that. I also have a caller, by the way. Have you liked this broadcast? If I may ask, have you liked this? Come on. We have over 3,000 of us on YouTube and over 300 of us on Facebook. But look at it. I mean, come on. Just leave the comment section, right? Like the broadcast. Then come back to the comment section and talk to Prince Jejeman. How are you?
Yes, Baba.
The Prince.
I'm fine. No, my good general.
How are you, sir?
Respect. I'm fine. Are you?
Well, very well, thanks. You are my first caller again tonight.
Yeah. Thank you so much for making me the first caller again today.
Thank you. Go on.
Baba, you know, yesterday I talked about security when I called in. You know, we will not lose focus. You know, security is number one priority of any government that is a government.
It should be.
So that is the reason why I always talk about security when there is need for it. You see, my good general, when I was in Nigeria, I'm just this first time I'm saying this publicly. You see, there was a time I had a case at Banti. I had a case at Banti. You know, that case is a friend of mine that it was just a business that we did or something. Yes, business. Then someone came in and that's how we get to Banti. You know, Banti at Yaba. That case I was a witness in that case. That, my friend, is the man accused. You know, but due to how the oppression there, I have to stay back. I say yes, I will remain in this matter to see the end. You know, we stayed in that cell for good 1 month before they took the case to court. And that case, in the court for 6 years, we were in the court before the case was finally discharged and acquitted. While we were in the court, you know that somebody, the person that was accusing us in that case, there was somebody that he brought. This person, what he does is that anywhere he comes to court, any court around in Nigeria, anywhere he sees somebody that has case, he will buy the case. They are connected to all these magistrates. You know, you will see him come into the court, he will go into the magistrate office and come out. You understand? Then they will not bill you how much you are going to pay to settle out the case. If you don't, that's how they will continue to drag you until you submit.
Until you conform.
Yes. You know, something I found out when I was inside the cell. There was one guy, he was in that cell for good 4 years, ATM, awaiting trial. Do you know why that guy was in the reason why they kept him there? They came to arrest the sister. They said that the sister was befriending an armed robber. So when they came to the house to arrest the sister wasn't around. They arrested the boy, the brother. That boy was kept inside Banti for good 4 years. ATM, awaiting trial. His case was not hard. You understand? That's how bad that country is. That's how bad, dangerous that country is. It's in Mayegu. If that country, if they don't dismantle that country, shut it down completely, life will continue to waste every day. You know, I just say let me
thank you so much, Prince. Yeah,
with us on your channel today. Thank you. Yeah,
for a appreciate that. That's Prince Jejeman dropping his own piece to sharing. Tomorrow, let me tell this to you again. Let me remind you. Tomorrow, the name of our program, the title of our program tomorrow is going to be Share Your Experience. Share with us. Okay, if you can do it in few minutes, share with us what was that thing, the last thing that got you made up your mind that you are leaving Nigeria. And it's going to be an open mic. We're going to do that tomorrow. Get ready for it. This is not going to be about us just talking about the wrongs and all of that in Nigeria. You are going to tell your story. What happened? When was that time that you felt like, Omo, this is it. I'm done. I'm going. And some of you have never looked back since then. I want you to start sharing that story now with so many of us. So let me take this. Hello there.
Please, Mayegu.
Yes, sir.
Mayegu Baba.
Sir?
I've been keeping quiet since all these days, but this one we talk this night just make me say we can chip in something.
That you cannot ignore.
Brother.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Honestly, a lot of things is happening. And I will make it brief. You know, when it comes to all this music and all those stuff, the business exists long time, but it's just in another level.
People never just paid attention,
No, they paid attention long time. Long time, especially in Lagos. I can tell you categorically, it's only one out of 10 big men in Lagos that doesn't push in dealing business.
The rice business, I be the cooking business. Let's be very clear, JJ.
Yeah. It's a business. Let's say deal. So the people understand now.
Okay.
It's 1 in 10 out of Lagos that doesn't do that business.
And at the
including the
so
people
that's going
who
on
are.
about Lagos. And at the same us, they say, now Igbos, they push drug. So have we been lying to ourselves?
No. Brother,
so it's been a free for all.
This thing I'm telling, I will tell you a story. I will tell you some my experience.
Oh, yeah.
My experience in early 90s. That was before Abacha died. That is around 95, 96. I went to somebody in Lagos. That time I was still I just started service, and I went with some people. The old man is a famous big man in that Ojota area, brother. The guy who died. All those, imagine at that time, what of the 80s? So the business is just on another level now. And I will advise people
right now they
what
can
is
just
going
use the
on.
presidential jet. Presidential jet to carry drug. Now, nobody go check. They are like biggest now. Yeah?
Oh, that is, the effect of what happened in the 80s, 90s is what you are seeing now. You understand? There was a time in Italy that he had to get to some all those Americans to cop them. But not that those things stop completely in Italy. It still exists, but it's just in another level. That's what is going on in Nigeria. You see, when we talk of security, my brother, anybody who is in Nigeria wants to survive in Nigeria, you have to play into their way.
You have to play.
You have to fight
according to the rule, or else you're just wasting your time.
All this gangster that you are seeing started from courtesan, from Aye, Black Cars, all those whatever, Buka, all those groups. That's why this Mobad couldn't get out of them, because it's like a network. And if you look at that Naira Marley, it's like it belongs to all those Black Cars group. Even though he might not physically join them before, but he has been initiated. That I can't give too much detail. But these are what I'm saying. So that's why it's so hard for him to get out of that, broke out of that their shit. Because they are, even anywhere you go, because the police who you want to go and complain to is boys. Maybe the organ might not belongs to the courtesan, belongs to the court. But the boys that is using at the office are also indeed to the police. Well, so they join. They are all.
That's the Nigerian spokesperson. Are they Joby or something? With them there. That's the spokesperson for the police. That's the guy who said what MC Oluomo said in that video. He was just joking. He didn't mean it. That's the guy on the top. If you check your screen right now, you will see him at the top left.
I know now.
It's a police officer.
I know, brother. So, brother, I can't say much because this is so this is what is
happening. Let everybody speak in parables. And at the end of the day, you kind of always fight yourself on that same for you be fighting yourself to say, no, don't say it. Okay, say it. No, don't say it. Okay, say it. You know what?
No, that's it now. You see that I've been quiet because there's a lot to I have to keep things because now the people who are in power now, brother, if you mess up, you disappear. I won't say more than that. If you mess up, you disappear. Trust me, that's it. You mess up, you disappear.
I'll take this one. JJ. Nice one. Yeah. I'll pay my Scotland. Anybody will want to make me disappear. You go need to use that. That person will need to use that Umaru Diko style. They go drug me. They will kidnap me, drug me, put me in a crate. But the first thing is that you have to go through Agbeke. You will need to go through Agbeke. That means you have to kind of, I don't know. For me, I know they live in Scotland. Whether they run their concentration camp from far. I'll be reporting. Hi there, Zeus.
Hey, my good general, Maggio.
How
is the family? I'm doing great. Thank you for the advice. We that have family and kids, I mean, most Nigerian cultures, what they do is once the man is dead, they're trying to get all your properties right away. Even there's some cultures, they want to get your wife.
Yes.
You know? So
and if she's not going to agree, then they will send her away with the children, like Omo.
Yes.
Young soldiers should look in what do.
Yeah, you have your brothers, your own siblings eyeing your wife if she's beautiful. They're waiting for you something to happen to you so that they can come and they say it's tradition. They forget every other thing about tradition, but they wait for you once you're no longer there. They want to get all your wife. They drive, everything. They want to claim everything. So that was a good advice, my God. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Talking about, I'm talking about Wole Soyinka.
Yes, sir.
I remember that this is a man that brought cultism into Nigeria. He started the pirates.
He did.
And stuff like that. Then, if you look at him too, there's so many things that, I mean, he started very good, but in the middle, he started changing. For example, how he got his Nobel laureate was when all African writers boycotted.
They did, though. They boycott. You know what I wanted to even say, Zeus, right? A lot of people need to know the history behind the Nobel laureate. Okay? That laureate they are giving people. The guy behind it, invented something that later murdered billions of people. It's called dynamite, and that turned to what is used as bomb. When he discovered what he has invented, that's going to be the doom of this world. He gave all of his money. They paid him every of his estates, right? And he said everything from it.
Wow.
They should be using that to pay people who promote peace and researches in science. That he doesn't want his children. They don't inherit anything from him. Everything was like, you know what? I'm not going to take a kobo from it. And that's where you get the Nobel laureate you are hearing today. Long story, Zeus, please go on.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and again, from what you were touching today about the music industry in Nigeria, they're doing good, but most of them are using it as a front. Like I'm from the East, so I know all the moguls, the business moguls. I don't want to start mentioning their names, but I see who they affiliate themselves with. And they use music as a way to front as if, no, that's not what the business. You can see their buildings, you can see their associates and their affiliates. There's some that actually hang out with MC Oluomo recently, taking pictures and stuff like that. I don't want to call the Igbo man name, but they're all using music to front. We know actually what they're doing. And with the way that this young man
is that
died,
not even like E-Money? E-Money is one of them. I know that
one.
Obi Kubana is one of them. I know that one. And all the money laundering that is going on around them, and why they need that connection to stay covered. Baba, I know them all. If you know more, mention their names. I don't mind. I can mention their names.
I said, make you don't put my Lego.
Okay, man, no carry you go that side, Abi. So, Zeus, you know what you are doing. You know what you are doing. Zeus, you are. I don't know. You are like this woman, this police officer.
I will not allow you to. Help me. If they carry me, they go. We are not know. Help me.
So if you don't want to mention them, I don't mention them. Don't mention others. Just continue.
So they're using it to front. So it's harder for you to want to pull up because they're really connected. And with the way our country going now, with the narco state structure that they're trying to build, it's going to be harder for anybody that's affiliated with them to actually get out. You actually have to be in now. This is a time that everything you don't want to bring it up front. You don't want to show people who they are because they are the high and mighty. And how do you bury the evidence? They just bury the evidence. There's no autopsy on this young man.
Yeah, it's a lawless place. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's not even a Muslim. It wasn't a Muslim. So there was no reason to hurriedly bury him, especially knowing what he's passed through. At least, if he has nothing when he's alive, he should get justice. But I mean, Nigerians.
My ego. Did you see the boy on they so humiliated him even till death?
I swear.
Do you know that they cannot even find a coffin as big
any befitting coffin? I don't even want to go into all those gory details, but
they have to bend his neck. They have to bend his neck inside his coffin.
Like that. That's how they buried. That's the coffin. They couldn't find his size. They couldn't find money for somebody to build his size. And they forced him in it, and they even took the picture like that. This is how it was
bend his neck.
I saw it.
And they were busy trying to share his property.
Yes, so. Take his cars, take everything they can.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my brother.
Thanks, man. Zeus. You see, I appreciate the fact that a lot of people are also following some of these things. But what I do is that I kind of put them together so that you can sit down there from the start to finish, and all of these stories, the ones you've heard, the ones you've never heard of, and all of them, I will bring all of them together in a one single package, and you can have a kind of a decision afterward and say, wow, really? So yeah, really. Hello.
Maji.
Yes, sir.
I'll go straight to the point, Maji. Prince speaking.
Go on.
It's not a coincidence that recently you were speaking about the establishment and their courts in Nigeria, especially coming from the angle of the religious, bodies, and also the elderly.
I know.
How
they always kind of push us. They want to push us to lose our home training every time. Every time.
And this so-called narrative about he's an elderly person
for us.
When
they make us
he's a man of God.
See that thing happen true, sha. She happen or you know happen. When they make us look like now we get problem.
Yeah, he's a man of God. He's an elderly person. Maye,
Baba.
Wole Soyinka should go and sit down.
Respectfully.
Looking at him, Maye, what Wole Soyinka has said. You see, I believe in objectivity and science. Everything that guy said, there is no objectivity in it.
Honestly.
And I feel so ashamed because I'm from Ogun State as well. And that coming from a man who happens to be, when we were growing up, like me, my father encouraged, to read. And one of the people we look up to are people like Wole Soyinka.
Tell them.
Some of his books, that my father had in his own archive, we respect Wole Soyinka a lot. And saying what he has said is, and also, the video I saw, I've seen that video a very long time ago, but I never thought that video, has a flip side to it. And I'm thinking a lot of things. Lots of people that Tinubu helped, I'm going to mention names, Dele Momoud, running away from him. At least he was the one who gave him, when he was on exile the first time he got to United Kingdom, he gave him, he gave him shelter and all that. But why is that people can't even, they can't even be with him, they can't even stay near him? And I remember he mentioned something about, this so-called Escobar, this Koluman. And moving away from that, you find out that is exactly whatever happens at the top just transcends into the society.
Straight up.
It's sometimes I want to encourage myself about, I feel so bad about the fact that I can't even travel to my country, not because of anything.
I still have people here that one way or the other, they still hope that something should happen and save Nigeria. And every time I tell them Nigeria cannot be saved, they are battling it within themselves to actually believe that. It's so difficult. And I know that some of you here, it's so difficult to believe that. Are you sure Nigeria cannot be saved, Mayegu?
It can be because the establishment.
It can. Well, I say, well, you will find out.
It's not
Disappointment
possible
upon disappointment, Baba.
I'm just going to make 2 points so that I can let other people speak.
Sorry,
because the establishment, they're taking over everything. It's taking, and when money is involved, Yoruba ní tójú tẹnu bá jẹ ojú máa tì, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́. It's so bad, and there is no remedy to it. Sometimes I want to feel bad I can't even travel. It's not that I'm on exile, I'm not a fugitive, but the fear of, even from the airport, look at the guy you just mentioned. If anything happens to me, if I get to my home country and I've discovered that something is not right, with my own mentality about, you know, what the police should be.
Coming from, let's do the right
coming
thing.
from. The fear of me even going to the police in the first place, the people that are, you know, the institution that believe would
imagine you fighting for your
protect
life,
me,
whereby you could lose your life simply because you are trying to correct something that is wrong.
All those things would just make me. I just give myself a love. I'm like, no, don't even make that mistake, because you can never tell anything. You don't know the day it's going to happen.
Just don't know.
Don't even think about it. Except you want to go in there. Like you can't just be in one room till you leave.
No, I mean, like, you just be yourself.
You
like when you go in there, just don't try to make it look like you wanted to correct anything. Just flow with them and flow out.
What do I even want to go and do, rather than, you know, old friends that we'll see on, you know, we thank God for the social media that we make video calls, but see in flesh. You don't understand. I go, it is well. Well, I should go and sit down. There's no. I am more after Obidient, or maybe Obi even winning the election. Like you
right. See, Baba. See,
the main point. You know, he left the main point off. We did not even talk about the main point. The person we're talking about, the culprit.
Yeah.
The person himself. That is the person you left all that to. You see the way they brainwash Nigerians. You see the way Wole Soyinka has spoken now. Not to silence that aspect, aspect of it. Now focused on the election and started gaslighting the Obidient. You see the way he never mentioned anything about, you know, the controversy around the certificate and the job. You see. Punish him.
Not even Baba, see, Baba, not even the economy that Buhari, his friend, destroyed. That everybody is suffering it right now. It didn't even, you know, like, see.
You know,
I asked earlier, I said, I mean, if you pay attention very well, like, you try to understand where it's coming from, and then you begin to be like, oh, my Baba, she lose some training me because of this, but she could what, bye. Seriously. Hello.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Is that Sham, ma'am? Is that you?
Yes, it's Cham.
What happened yesterday? I was so happy to get you connected, but it never connected.
I was so happy to be finally connected. I've been trying to call for how many days now since they had the what's that fake judiciary region.
Yeah. But well, you know, we can do all of that now. I mean, like, you know, we are here now. It's just that every day, every day one problem, one another. So yeah, you have the floor, please.
Okay, so just a couple of things. First of all, like, again, I know that people call in and you always talk about appreciating your show. But I think this morning I was thinking about your show and I was thinking, I'm not even sure how I stumbled upon this show. Do you understand? And I started watching it. I have learned so much. You know, and I talk to my siblings and I say to them, you know, we talk about religion and everything. I think about the impact of religion on our country, right? How, like you said, we so revere our elders, and it is right that we should revere our elders. But I think what is happening right now is that in revering our elders, you can disregard when they are, you know, when they're being absolutely foolish.
You know, like using reverse psychology on us. Like, I have to be able
to
go on.
So we should have to be a society where, if our elders should be able to we can correct our elders.
Yes.
You know, because even the Bible says, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings. So I mean, wisdom is not the purview of the elderly.
No.
So we can still find wisdom in children. You can still find wisdom in, you know, adolescents and things like that.
That's right.
So, and I say all of this to say that, you know, Soyinka is a massive disappointment. You know, he was one of those people that anybody who was going to school, we looked up to. He was, you know, we had TKOB, the mathematician. We talked about him. We talked about people like, what do you call it? Chinua Achebe. About people like Wole Soyinka and things like that. And we all aspired, you know, to be like these people. Right? To be notary like these people. But now, and like you said, if you live long enough, you see your heroes turn into villains, and that is exactly what has happened with Wole Soyinka. You know, it is really sad that nobody has called out the fraud that Tinubu is, because he's a fraud. We don't even know who he is, you know. And people, I had a conversation with someone today, and the person said to me, give Tinubu a year, and I was like, this is somebody I deeply respect. Do you understand? And I said, give Tinubu a year. I was like confused. I said, what are you talking about?
That's what they do.
You know?
Then afterward, they will now start making you feel like you are the problem. Well, first they'll say, but it has happened now. Maybe that's how God wanted it. If you say, no, God doesn't want it. They say, but okay, it has happened. You can't change it. Nobody is trying to change it, but we are questioning the process, which has divided Nigeria more. You should be concerned.
You should, exactly. This was the argument I was having with him. I said, you should be concerned.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of the time when people who are against what's his name, Peter Obi, is because the man is excellent. And his type of excellence demands that you also be excellent. And we as a country, we have been, whether we like it or not. And in fact, listening to Soyinka, I know that we have been hoodwinked for the longest time. Nigeria didn't stop happening. Exactly. And Nigeria didn't start happening to us 10 years ago, 15 years ago. No. Nigeria has been happening to us for a long
from the day we were born, Sham. Add it that way. We were born to be conditioned, programmed to be like this, be like that, be like this, be like that. But they lost the plot along the way. They lost the plot out of their greed. They couldn't satisfy their own part of the deal. They said, go to school, right? After that, and you get a job. They start a family. But they held on to their own part of the bargain. They never gave back. At the end of the day, they lost the whole plot. Here we are today.
Exactly. Here we are. Here we are. You were showing, you know, may his soul rest in peace. I don't really know the story around this young man because, to be honest, I'll be very honest with you. I don't listen to today's music I don't. So, you know, I'm not really, you know, into any music at all. So, but God rest his soul. I mean, to each their own. I just don't listen to today's music. So, anyway, God rest his soul. You know, you were showing how he was being buried, the road, the mega city that Tinubu created for us, that he beats his chest and he says that, oh yes, this is I made a mega city. Yeah. This is the mega city with roads that almost, you know, submerged in water and things like that. That is our mega city. That is the what's it called? That is the CV he runs on, and we all stand and nobody's saying anything about it. You know, from your show, I've learned again that our religious leaders are not to be trusted. Our royal fathers, I'm sorry, if anybody,
maybe not all of them, they will say, but the royal fathers, the institutions cannot be trusted. No,
they cannot be trusted. All of these people, and I feel that that's part of where Soyinka was compromised. When he started associating with Bola Tinubu, when he started, maybe taking money from him, because I think he took money from him. I don't know. I have no proof.
He said it now. What do you mean you don't know? You watched the video and he said he became a business partner with Tinubu, trading rice to make money, to sponsor the revolution. Did you miss that? He made money from Tinubu. He said he's a trader that only needed his signature, right, to get his rice from Thailand. He said it, and they made money for the struggle.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
For the struggle in court. Now, so he's already compromised, because maybe when he gets to know the truth of exactly what was in this so-called rice route that we're taking, right? He found out that, okay, I'm compromised. And in order to maintain that air of Nobel laureate and all of it, he has to go along to get out. He can't come out of it anymore. And like I think the previous caller, he was one of those people that started this whole cult movement. I think Nigeria's problem is a multidimensional one, because we don't have religious leaders that we can rely on. Nobody is willing to put their necks out there. Instead, all of this pastor deferency, they use their phonetics and whatever to brainwash everybody there.
They are part of the establishment.
They are part of the establishment. They are part of the all the multiple columns that are going on in Nigeria. That when I listen to your show, I'm happy that there's a show like this. I can refer people to. I say, you guys need to watch what this guy is talking about, and he comes with receipts. It's not that he's just saying his own thing there. Exactly. And all of that. So I sit back and I listen to your show and I think to myself, how do we get out of this? Because it is easy to say, okay, let us fight for the constitution. I feel like it is only a legitimate government, and that's why I still push for. I don't know how things are going to be resolved with Obi. I don't know what the next step is. They want to go to the Supreme Court. Then after the Supreme Court, what next? Because I don't see the Supreme Court doing anything different from what this tribunal has done. Anyway. Okay. Now you're saying oh, let us revisit the constitution. An illegitimate government will never. Right?
Let me explain what that means. Okay, it is not just a saying, as like others. What we are trying to say here is that before now, remember, there are those who believe that election cannot save Nigeria, and they were like stupid people back then. Like, what are you saying? What do you want people to do? To boycott election? So how then what are they going to do when election is next year? We said that in a country with what we have witnessed in Nigeria, that people who care should ordinarily demand for a national conversation, which borders around that constitution. Okay, from that, if people still agree, right? If they agree, they can devise the type of democracy they actually want before they go into the type of election they want to go into. You know what I mean? Like, none of this will be able to be done.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You did.
I don't even disagree with you. I don't disagree that not only does
it's actually what I wanted to add to it. You know what I wanted to add, right? You know what I wanted to add is that a lot of people who have tried, who wanted election and a lot of us have now seen a result. Instead of preparing for another one, how about everybody begin the message of, if Nigeria is not, if that national conference is not if Nigeria has no new constitution, if Nigeria is not this, you know what I mean? There shouldn't be any next election rather than people preparing for that. That could be a mass movement. Okay. Go on, Sham.
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you that can be that can be the next leg of the race, right? Because the reason why I said that I think the point I'm trying to make is you can't depend on this government because the government is illegitimate, and this constitution that we have here allows this government to stay in. So you asking them to revisit or review this constitution and saying to get me out of power, they're not about to do that. Okay, so if we had a legitimate government, then you can then say, you know what, the next step is we want to review this constitution. We want our constitution to define who a Nigerian is. And we want our constitution to say how we manage our resources. We want our constitution, just revisit, revise, review the entire constitution because it doesn't work for anybody. Okay? So this is what I feel is the next step.
See, Sham, this is something that people like Soyinka, elder statesmen, should be
saying.
This is what they should be saying. This is
what our so-called royal fathers, our so-called religious leaders should be saying. What are we doing? The people in the north are dying.
Why can't we just figure this out before another election?
Exactly. Why can't we figure this out before the next election? Nothing is working.
Oh, no, they are gaslighting everybody. They are gaslighting all of us.
And finally, I just want to say that for all of the people in the diaspora, right? And especially, I speak to those, especially who think that, okay, I'm #blessed because none of my family is in Nigeria. Listen, part of the problem that a lot of people, a lot of Black Americans have is that they feel disconnected from their roots because of that whole slave trade and everything, right? Now, they were forcibly taken. We willingly came, right? And then you're having children who will in turn have children who will then inherit that disconnection from their roots. Okay? So when you say it is not your problem, maybe not now, it's not your problem, but down the line, generations down the line, that would be a problem.
It is going to be a big problem.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's what I wanted to add.
Sham, you are a class. Thank you so much, ma. All right.
We
are all going to eventually queue back on the right line. All of us are learning now, okay, that divided will continue to fall. We are getting to a stage where a lot of people will know what it means to be united against your oppressor. We are getting there, but we shall see. Take care, ma'am. All right. Like they say, when you are living through history, it's very slow. What is wrong with people? Why can't they fight? Why are we knocking? One day, you go just be like, say, hey, it don't start, because we are living through it. It's always going to be slow. We are the history. Yeah? That others are going to read about in few years to come. I have a caller. Hello.
Hello, Mayago.
Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm fine. I like this your smile. Really smile and person we don't win jackpot.
You know, it's called the screen smile. Sometimes it's fake. But I've mastered it. At least
Anyway.
nobody could detect that much. Thank you.
I'm calling from London. Yeah, I'm just saying that thing you said a couple of weeks ago. You know what? I think it's time to open church on your name. Was it the Mayagu Church of Salvation?
Well, that won't be far from it. I'll say
because when you were saying it, yeah, people were thinking. The thing is that people don't understand. I'm seeing people saying, is that guy more important than people that died in NSAS? No, he's not important. He is one of those little triggers that is going to trigger the whole thing, the boiled up anger that has been building up. These guys have been doing this thing for years. Nobody was able to stop them. Nobody was able to say anything. For the first time, they panicked. For them to start locking down their social media and everything, they're beginning to realize, people are reacting. People are beginning to react. And what they are doing by all these steps they are doing, what people don't really realize is you're beginning to pinpoint who exactly is linked to who. By their actions, people are beginning to connect the dots. Okay, so that guy I saw the other day is linked to this person, is linked to this person. This is why this person said this. So what is going to culminate into all this, in my own analysis, is once they finish their Supreme Court with Peter Obi will have succeeded, or Labour Party, or all the people that were thinking that Mayegun, Nnamdi Kanu, Sunday who were all mad people saying that he should break up, will now realize that road that they are going, according to Nnamdi Kanu, there's no mileage. The mileage has finished. They've exhausted it. The other road they were trying to try, maybe let's go get police, they are all being controlled by people. And these people are linked to this person, to this person, to this person. What will now happen? It could just be like, you just go to bar, you're having a drink, and somebody from the other group will just touch somebody, and people say, wait, people have done this too much. And that's how the whole thing will start.
And then there's a bro.
They will no longer blame you or any other person or Sunday Igboho.
Nobody.
The people will now revolt from there. And because it's unplanned, unexpected, the impact will be so much that to the point where there will be no place for anybody to run.
You see?
Because the person you're going to run to at the airport has already kept all the boiled down anger. Say, wait, you give me a gun, you pay me 30K a year. Your son that doesn't even go to school, I'm now guiding him. He will be the first one to shoot your son.
You know?
Because now people are now beginning to add up the numbers. Okay. So these guys have connection like this. These musicians are linked to this. The next thing is going to find out now, you're going to start seeing people start connecting to the military, to the guys in other sectors.
You know?
They will have all their profile and they'll be waiting. It's just one of them will make one mistake.
And that is exactly what it's going to be, like a domino effect. I'll give you an example, sir. 22 years, Omar al-Bashir held Sudan together. They called him a tyrant. That was like to say he was in control. But the day that the domino effect will happen, Omar al-Bashir became so worthless than the least person who has any kind of influence in Sudan. Same thing happens to so many other places where they felt like they were powerful until people revolted, and that happened. And it's bottling up in Nigeria. You are so right.
You see what's going to happen. Let me remind you what Omar Bashir case. Omar Bashir case, he used to janjaweed people to fight the Southern Sudan. The person he created didn't have military background.
Remember?
When the war was over, when Southern Sudan left, the guy now said, you must give me a position in the government for me to continue to guarantee security of all the mining areas. And the generals that were generals said, no, you did not go through military school. Why would you give this position? And from there, the guy now revolted. When he revolted, the army is already divided into two. What is happening in Nigeria now? Boko Haram have got their own part in the government. The guys from South with what's his name? With
Asari and his guys.
Asari and have got their own part. MC Oluomo has come to Abuja to create his own part. And Nnamdi Kanu and his people are on the other side creating their own part. It takes one person crossing the other person's line.
Territory or the line.
It will trigger. And when it trigger, plus the boiled up anger of the people at the bottom, like one time Princess said, the people sitting on the table are bent their back and people are eating on top of them. When those people now stand up, plus this warlord on different sections now stand up at the same time, because one person crossed the other person's path,
and just
then the whole thing has started. Then they will now start. They will say, where did it go wrong? Because they've been giving us the rope, giving us the rope. Go and get your PVC. That's one rope. You guys don't respect elders. We give them space. You guys, the law is there to support you.
If you feel like cheated, went to court.
You went to court. You go to Supreme Court. You go to Supreme Court.
Don't talk about it, or else you want to cause problem. You'll be arrested. Don't protest.
You're gaslighting us. You're intimidating the judiciary. All these things are boiled up anger of over 20-something years. By the time it will start with them. Don't be surprised. You see this in the heaven. It will start with them. All these people that we're complaining about, they're all one of our brothers and sisters from different parts of Nigeria. It just takes the way they did not agree with this guy that they killed now, this musician they didn't kill. It's the same way it's gonna happen to somebody that's more powerful within the group that will say, you know what, my stake in this drug deal was 5,000. Why did you give me 1,000? That is what's gonna cost from. And they will start fighting there. People just join. Before you know it, the clash has started.
Get the hints.
And before you know it, the whole place on fire.
I pray for that because I don't know why Legushi would deny Sam Larry. Like, did they kind of understand the consequences of this? So they decided to discard from it as early as possible. Or there's even more, and they don't want to get attached to all the other thing that is underlying stuff. Because I have no idea. I've been trying to figure out why the palace of Legushi would deny him. Are people already pointing fingers? Or is it because of the pictures they've taken together in and outside Nigeria with the Oba? There's so much still.
The thing is, the rule of engagement when you're in this kind of situation is anybody that mess up, drop them out first.
Quickly, throw them under the bus.
Clear. When the air clear, then you get them back on board. You would remember when these whole politicians like PDP, APC, when they mess up in one party, they'll go to the other party.
They do.
These guys that are saying they don't do anything with them. If you're not doing something with the guy, how did you know the guy? Why was he having those access? Can you and me and you go to the same place he goes to free? No. So there must be something. Me calling you now is because you pick up my call because you know I'm one of your
exactly. We have something that we are doing together. It's either you are watching me and you have my number, and then you know exactly now.
It's no coincidence that you go to the same party I attend. So they're just trying to play their own fast game. But what is going to happen now is they're probably going to drop the guy on the ground. And if the guy doesn't come back to his position when he's going to come back to the group, he will feel cheated. And he will start doing the same thing that Mobad was supposed to do. But now he's not doing it at a larger scale. And the group begins to crumble from within. It's even going to add to some of the things that are going to review by themselves. It's going to create more anger in people to the point that when the people react, there's no holding them back.
So people will have more and more and more and more reason why they will eventually want to break out of this whole kind of capture. I get that.
Mayogu, you don't understand. Look at the number of army officers and police officers in Nigeria. All of them carrying gun. And you're paying them little amount of money. And these guys cannot even afford to send their children to school. Then you guys are living lavishly. Those guys are waiting for opportunity. The day it will kick off now, you see all these people just move mufti, enter mufti. Okay, I'm trained. I even have the gun in my house. Now, nobody's going to ask me how many bullets did I use. You'll be surprised that the same people you're thinking is going to be...
That will defend them. Will actually be the first to start firing at them. That's deep.
Thank you. That is how it's going to be. And because those people live with them every day, they know where they can hide.
Exactly. They know when they bring money in. They know when they buy this. They know where they keep all these things. So if they kill them, they can take all those things. Now, if the country goes up in smoke, that's deep, Baba.
Who told people where the palliative were? There are people that saw the palliative. It's something that will happen. It's the same thing that's going to happen. Just watch.
But how come they are not afraid? If the way you are thinking right now, right, is because of the state of Nigeria right now. How come they are not thinking like that? Because they have a lot to lose. Because they continue to do the same thing that will lead to where you are talking now. Abi, how come they are not seeing it the way we are seeing it? Or is it just because they don't care?
They're not thinking that way because
no, they are not.
They are bribing, out of 100 people, they are bribing 20 to 30 police officers. What is going to happen now? Me and you are let's assume me and you are on the same job. And every day you drive Lexus and we're on £7 an hour in London. Then one day I now realize, wait, I've been in this job for 30 years. I can't even afford to send my son to school. Two of my children are at home. My wife is sick. Then you now tell me, you don't understand. My boss has always been paying everything. Then it gets to my turn to be promoted to go and guide the next boss. They now promote you again. that pent-up anger is building up in the civil service, military, everywhere. It's going to take that person that is guiding them one day will be removed. Plus, these guys in this other side that are doing the street runs will feel cheated. The whole thing will snowball. And then, because these guys have their information, they tell you, our guy is going to the airport, you push away. They'll put it on Twitter there. Who gave David the military plan for Niger? Is he not somebody in the military? Has that ever happened before in Nigeria?
No,
it's never happened before.
No.
The anger is there. It's boiling up small. And as soon as it will happen, even you will be thinking, wait, is this I've been talking about this thing for years. Have they actually been listening to me, or did this just happen? And that's how it's going to go. It will be a surprise to everybody.
But take another one, Baba. You just took me to another perspective tonight, and it's not just me, I can tell you. A lot of people are there nodding their head like, it's true, the day go be. But there are others who are like pessimists, and they say, until that thing happen, I no believe. You know? But like I said, when you are living through history, it is always slow, very slow.
Nobody expected answers. Nobody expected the election to go the way it went. People to come outside and take record of the election. Nobody expected anybody to challenge the election result with facts. We use all the avenue they're giving us to do legitimate things. They are pushing you to illegitimate. It's like most people say people commit crimes. A criminal is not always a criminal. The criminal has actually tried to do legitimate ways. And when you don't give him opportunity, he used the same skill set that I used to do the legitimate thing to do bad stuff. These guys have pushed population to a point where people graduate, no jobs. The same people you have trained will now say, you know what? If this is what you want to play, let's play it your own way now. And by then, you realize that there's a difference between a crowd and a bunch of people.
Nice. I mean, what you call Vuvuzela spray singers. You're right. But I'm gonna take another one. I like that. Thank you so much for taking us through that. I kind of like it when people get on to be, in a way, more practical with their analysis. And then you sit down there and you begin to say, oh, okay, that's making sense. And that's exactly what Osita will tell us. One name.
Wow.
How are you?
In fact, I'm all right. My brother, I want you to play me that music, Ashishete.
Which one be that? Adishete. Okay. I'll take you back to that. Just a second, okay?
Disable, Akishete, Atin Paro Tipe, Atisete, Tito, Dimo, Dodo, Simo, Atisete, Odisete, Kagwa de Falare, Atisete, Kagwe de Falare, Atisete, Adajo, Paro, Tori Owo, Atisete, Odilu, Paro, Tori Bo, Atisete, Udo, Minster, Atisete, Atisete, Tiangara, Atisete, Disable.
Adishebo. Osita.
Yeah. I wish everybody understand Yoruba so they will understand the lyrics of that particular music. For me, it's the music for the year 2023. It shows what the people who were supposed to be the leaders of the masses, that is supposed to be a bridge between the government and the people. But what it is showing right now is the position they have taken. Most times, it's because most of the people will call the heroes of our yesteryears, what the people they call the heroes of yesteryears. They are being called heroes because they don't have intellect like us today to verify them, to scrutinize them, to know if they are heroes or not.
Or zeros.
Or zeros. Everybody is saying, oh, he's compromised. He's not. I don't even think he is compromised. Wole Soyinka, I removed that professor because the reason I removed that professor is even anytime I'm a Christian, but anytime any person that says is a man of God, when he does something wrong, especially in a situation, this situation we are facing today, and you come to say contrary, I will call you by your name. I will remove that pastor, that reverend, that imam. I will remove it from you, and I will call you out by your name, because your name is who you are. Wole Soyinka, everybody knows the story. His house, that's his house where he lives, his country home where he lives. The person that actually renovated it, let's forget about the Thailand Rice. The person that renovated it was Remi Tinubu. It is not a secret. So how do we think that somebody you've been in bed with all this while, and you think that somebody will come up and say, oh, I mean, he will come up and say, oh, this person is a bad person. If he tries to do that, they will bring out his dossier. So that is the way this thing works.
And
that
that's why
is
it is
the
called
reason.
Establishments, in case those who are wondering.
Yes. Yes. So that is the reason most of the time, I, as a human rights activist, I have gone so far. If you tell me, as Nigeria is with that constitution, that I should come and become even a local government chairman, my brother, I am going to refuse it, because that's
the
local
right
government
thing to
chairman.
do, except if you have a plan to just join them, but pretending. I have known this since I was 17.
Yes. So I will reject it, because at the end of the day, I will not be able to speak out.
No.
If you remember during Obasanjo's era, you remember that woman, Grange, that woman. The woman, if you
Grange, she was, I think she was for
health minister
or so then.
Health
I want
minister.
to remember her full name, but I remember Grange. Yes.
Yeah, but
that
she's great.
woman.
So, yeah, that woman, if you go and look at the story of that woman, the money they saw in her account, she did not put that money. She did not authorize that money to go into her account.
I remember.
But they forcefully put that money in her account just to stain her.
And accuse her for corruption.
Just to get,
I remember.
So this is when you think you are upright. Sometimes I look at Wole Soyinka, he doesn't even think at all, because the reason I said he doesn't think, when all these things was going on, sometimes I don't like talking about people that are in the same distance with me, background. They offered Chinua Achebe, Professor Chinua Achebe, they offered him the MON, the whatever in Nigeria.
In fact, it was offered at first. I think it was 3 times now that he rejected the national honor. Use national honor for it. Use national honor.
He rejected it. Yes, he rejected it. Another person is my own godfather. My own godfather in this race that we are into. When they told him that, oh, Chief Gani Fahimi, you'll be offered a SAN. He said his SAN. Yes, he said his own SAN is going to be for senior advocate of the masses.
Sam.
That was what he gave to himself. He refused it. That is the only way you can talk. That is the way it will give the opportunity for you to say something about, but Wole Soyinka is not going to say that.
No.
Rather, instead of, he will say that we the younger ones, the younger generation, he would throw us under the bus and blame us. Is that the person you call professor? If people don't understand the meaning of a professor, the professor is the one that produces the best of students. That student that is not biased. You transfer it, you produce them, but you've not been able to produce anybody. So it is a breeding ground for us. Everybody knows his history. He started all this movement of cultism, whatever, in Nigeria. No matter how you see it to be that, oh, then we were not violent.
Rights or fighting.
We were defending student rights. Cultism is cultism.
So what it has now turned
because
out to be.
Some of his stories, people don't say some of his stories anymore. That he went to Radio Ibadan. He went there with a gun. Where did he get it from? Was he licensed to have a gun?
Nobody has tried that in
and he hijacked
right now.
And he hijacked a radio station. Is that supposed to be right in a country where laws are bound? But because of laws are not bound, so at the end of the day, they can go to Aso Rock at any time. They can collect every lagis they can collect, and without thinking about the ordinary people. The previous caller, she said something. Yes, and that is true. It is until we begin to have compassionate hearts. When you see that woman roasting corn, you will ask yourself, is this woman supposed to be roasting corn? When you go to my 12 and you see somebody pushing wheelbarrow, you will ask yourself, is this person supposed to be pushing wheelbarrow?
Just to feed.
But it's because all of us, in our own little way, we love oppression. We love to be called SARS. Remember, there was a day I said something that the biggest problem we are facing as a nation is elderly people, what those things they call elder. Until we begin to, yes, it's until you begin to call, the only person I am supposed to call daddy is my biological father. Until I begin to call my uncle, if his name is Bernard, I will call him Bernard. If his name is Olayinka, I will call him Olayinka. If his name is Ibrahim, I will call him Ibrahim. Until that day, then they will learn how to listen to us.
I mean, talk about it's our tradition, it's our culture. We cannot do like that. We need to respect this.
We cannot do like that.
And then you begin to say, is it also our culture, right, to be thieves?
Yeah.
Hypocrites, liars, even at old age? Is that also the culture? So that's where I will agree with you, Osita. Call them who they are, especially those ones who don't even deserve those,
So we abroad here, we in diaspora, we will see some white children. They will call you by name. Well, Mr. Osita, they will call you.
It is sincere and honest instead of lying to be but hypocrite.
And somehow, sometimes in my heart, I will say in my mind, this one doesn't. But at the end of the day, they keep getting it right. What we need to do, look at what other people used in getting things right. Emulate it. But what we do emulate is the wrong attitude, the wrong mentality. The wrong mentality that our elders, since our elders has refused to say the truth. I was telling one man the day we went to play football last week, and I was telling the man, I said, he's an elderly person. I said, since you guys have refused to say the truth, and you are telling us that Tinubu won the election, since you have refused to tell us the truth, then we will start telling you the truth. And the truth that I am telling you, I told him, you are a failure.
Insulting to you, you have to take it.
I told him, yes, I told him he's a failure. He said, why? I said, at your age, you shouldn't be living in America by now. You should have gone home to stay. I said, as I am, I don't pray to God I remain in America at this your age.
When I get to your age.
So that's the way it is. So when they say they cannot say the truth, then we, the younger ones, will keep saying the truth. We'll start saying the truth. Thank you very much, my brother.
God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for all of that. And that is going to be the end of the broadcast tonight. Our time is up. So thank you for spending your evening with me again. If you join us midway, watch this from the start, okay? And if you actually started from the start to now, just like the broadcast before you leave, okay? Subscribe to my channel, and then look forward to the premiere as well as the replay of these broadcasts tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. My super chatters, the commenters, the sharers, the likers, and then the new subscribers too. And including those who came here to see if they could have a fertile ground to defend absurdity. All of you, you've played your role tonight. We all got engaged. Thank you. I will see you some other time. Until then, don't ever stop watching Mayegu. A lot of people have told me it's a difficult choice to make. Don't try it. I'll see you again. Good night.
mọ̀ tó jódodo.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Máyégún ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún já wa sí.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré àní Máyégún máa wí.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Máyégún diary politico.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dódòdó.
Máyégún diary Náíbì number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni. mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù máyé ń ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lúwẹ̀ túnra kì Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lúwẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lúwẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lúwẹ̀ túnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ̀rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.